All right, picture this. The surface of Mars. It's this huge, quiet, red desert. And for more than a decade now, we've had this one lone robot, our eyes and ears on the ground. But, after all that time, it's starting to show its age. So today, we're going to dig into this amazing story of how NASA engineers taught an old rover a new trick, basically giving it a whole new lease on life. And trust me, it led to some discoveries that are just wild.
And it all really boils down to this picture. I mean, look at that thing. It looks almost alive, doesn't it? Kind of like a piece of coral you'd find at the bottom of the ocean. So, seriously, what is that? And how did it end up on Mars? To get to the bottom of this, we've got to first talk about the rover itself and the incredible journey it's been on.
So, let's talk about Mars's aging explorer. Yep, we're talking about the Curiosity Rover. After more than a decade on the red planet, time is definitely taking its toll. This thing is a champ, an absolute marvel of engineering, but it's been in a tough fight against a pretty harsh environment.
Think about that for a second. 13 years on Mars. It landed way back in 2012, and in all that time, it's covered over 22 miles inside Gale Crater. Now, 22 miles might not sound like a lot, but this is an epic road trip. We're talking about carefully, slowly climbing a giant mountain in the middle of a crater on another planet. It's just an incredible feat. But yeah, a journey like that doesn't come for free. The rover is definitely showing its age. Its wheels are all worn out. It's had a few mechanical hiccups here and there, but the big one, the real mission-threatening problem, its power source. It's just steadily fading. And that's the thing that had everyone at NASA really worried.
Okay, so here's the core of the issue. Curiosity has this nuclear power source, right? It's called an MMRTG. Basically, it's a little box that uses the heat from decaying plutonium to make electricity. It's brilliant. But the key word here is decaying. As that plutonium decays, the battery gets weaker. It just produces less and less juice over time. And less juice means less energy for all the cool science stuff. All right, so here's where it gets really interesting. NASA was faced with this dwindling power supply. They could either just let the mission slowly fade away, or they could figure something out. And, well, they decided to get clever, really clever. It was time to teach an old rover some new tricks.
And you've got to hear this quote from Reidar Larson at NASA's JPL because it's just perfect. He said, "It's as if our teenage rover is maturing and we're trusting it to take on more responsibility." How great is that? They didn't just patch a bug. They basically let the rover grow up and start making some of its own decisions.
So how did they do it? Well, the old way was kind of inefficient. Think of it like this. The rover would do one thing and then just sit there, idling, burning power while it waited for the next command from Earth. Total waste. But with the new software, it's a whole different ballgame. It can now multitask, do two things at once. And maybe the coolest part? When it's done with its to-do list, it just puts itself to sleep, saving power instead of waiting around. And we're talking about small naps with some seriously big gains. I mean, saving 10 or 20 minutes of power a day, it doesn't sound like a lot, right? But when you're talking about a mission that's been going for over a decade, those minutes add up. They turn into extra days, even weeks of science time down the road. It's a huge deal. So why does all this matter? What's the payoff for all this extra energy? Well, it's what let Curiosity discover incredible new science. It's what brings us back to that very first picture, a coral on the red planet. So this little thing has a name. Scientists have nicknamed it Paposo. And get this, it's only about 2 inches wide, tiny. But it's giving us this stunning, jaw-dropping look into the ancient past of Mars. Okay, so how on Earth, or Mars, did this thing form? Well, you have to go back billions of years, back when Mars was a lot wetter. Water, packed with minerals, seeped into all these little cracks in the rock. Those minerals then hardened up, kind of like cement. And then for eons, the Martian wind just sandblasted away all the softer rock around it, leaving behind this delicate, intricate little sculpture. And what's really cool is that Paposo isn't just some random one-off fluke. It's a textbook example of something geologists call boxwork formations. And finding these is like finding a giant blinking sign that says, water was here. And as you know, water is the #1 thing we're looking for when we ask that ultimate question. Could there have ever been life on Mars?
So this brings us to Curiosity's next chapter. Because this is not a story about a mission winding down. No way. Thanks to that clever software update, this is a story about a mission hitting its second wind, smarter and more capable than ever before.
And you can really see the impact here. The bottom line is that these upgrades gave the mission a huge efficiency boost. It's pretty simple. Less time wasted means more time for science. It's more time to use the drill, more time to zap rocks with the laser, more time for discoveries. All of this squeezed from a battery that's technically getting weaker every single day.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. NASA put out a statement saying, "Together, these measures are doing their job to keep Curiosity as busy as ever." It's an incredible testament to the engineers, right? Solving a power crisis on a robot that's 100 million miles away. Just amazing stuff. And that really just leaves us with one final and very exciting question. Curiosity's proven that even after all this time, it's still got some surprises left. So now that it has more power and a little more wisdom, you just have to wonder, what else is out there, just over the next hill, waiting for our little rover to find it?